everybody. Welcome to the Bye Week Blues and a guide of how to beat them. My name is Liam Jenkins. The Outside Insider is back. Sorry we missed Wednesday. I had a meeting. Big businessy stuff, unfortunately. So I've got to live up to the British reputation of being somewhat, busy and in a suit and that kind of thing, and fish and chips meeting the Queen. But today we are back talking Eagles during the bye week. We've got a lot to get through. What surprised me is like the Jalen Hurts MVP discussion. I want to talk a little bit about that because it's not as outlandish as it seems. Like, it's very much viable for all of the right reasons, and it's even wilder considering like it took him a while to get going. Like, I think contextually, it's always better to zoom out, isn't it? Like, if in doubt, zoom out is a great comment to bear in mind. And when you look at the Eagles on a macro basis through those opening few weeks of the season, Jalen Hurts left a lot of meat on the bone. It wasn't brilliant. And then over the past 3 weeks especially, he's really kicked it into another gear, an outworldly level, which is very, very similar to the level he played at, which warranted him that $255 million contract in the first place. So there's a lot to discuss with Jalen Hurts. And is this the year he wins MVP? Can he rebound and do what he did last year? Win MVP, maybe go on and win the Super Bowl. Who knows? We're going to talk about that. I'm going to give my mid-season report card, the grades on each position up to this point. Some have surprised me in positive ways. Some have been surprisingly negative, but we will get to those as well as some bold predictions for the remainder of the season. But if you're just tuning in, hello, we got a couple of comments already. Doug says happy birthday. Happy Friday. It's not my birthday. And Greg's in as well with a big woot. Nice to see you this evening, gents. If you are just tuning in, or you're one of the 8 people watching this and you haven't said hello yet, feel free to pop your name into the chat. Hey, Zach, how you doing, man? Nice to see you making I think it's your Outside Insider debut saying hello. Love to see it. Absolute hero. If you want to say hello, make sure you do. We'll take any questions and stuff you want to discuss about the Philadelphia Eagles. If you could leave a like, that does help a lot. It just means more people can see the stream. So if you could just roll over in bed, hit that thumb, and then go to sleep with my dulcet tones lulling you into a lullaby, that would be lovely. But we'll get started. Let's just talk Jalen Hurts then for a minute. K1 is here. Nice to see you, sir, on this lovely Friday evening. Jalen Hurts. Hands up if you thought, let's say after week 3, that we'd be having a conversation, a legitimate conversation, not like a deluded, midnight green tinted conversation of you think Jalen Hurts is the greatest human to walk the earth, which he is, to be fair. But in fairness, after week 3, how many of us thought we'd actually be having a conversation where Jalen Hurts is a legitimate MVP candidate? I'm half. I wasn't overly sold. I was like, maybe there's like even a slight regression. Maybe he's a top 5 quarterback, and that is an absolutely fine ceiling considering what was going on around him. I didn't realize until a little bit of digging earlier that he's been pressured more than like most quarterbacks in the NFL. Despite that Eagles offensive line being as good as it is, there's been more hurries than a lot of the other quarterbacks. I can't remember the exact stat. I think Seamus Clancy had the article on it from the Inquirer earlier, so I need to go back and double check it. But to see Hurts at a level now where he is genuinely, arguably, the best quarterback in football right now, in contrast to what we saw those first, it just makes everything so much more impressive. It really, really does. And cream always rises to the top. That's the thing. Like, as long as he continued to work, continue to put in that effort, there was always going to be some kind of, positive outburst. I think the nicest thing that we saw was that a flaw was in place. Like, I can't remember which game it was, but it was the one where there was one really dodgy late interception. It might have been, I think it was the Jets. It must have been the Jets. It was the only one where that late pick mattered. But just a really bad, scruffy day. And even then, it was almost enough to win. So even when Jalen Hurts is at his worst is still a starting caliber quarterback that can drive you down the field and is aggressive enough and competent enough to put you in scoring situations. It just so happened on that game that, but like, as we said in the show that followed, that by the time every other domino fell over, that the defense folded, the offense gave up a lot of penalties. By the time it all come down to Jalen, it was too little too late. But if that's his flaw as a capable, solid, starting top 10 quarterback, the floor is astronomical. And we're really beginning to see just how high that floor is now. I've been in before and commented. You spoke at my comment. Oh dear, whoopsie. Sorry, Zach, it's my... But look, I'd understand if you weren't. I know it's late our time, so I'd fully understand. But I appreciate you being here and watching the show. I don't care about individual honours, neither does Jalen. That's what makes him great. That is true. Unfortunately, the wider audience does. I say that as my stream gets to six people. But unfortunately, it is such a wide thing. And it's one of those benchmarks, isn't it, where, everyone wants the MVP. It's become... I think it's more basketball than football. I mean, I always link the MVP abbreviation to basketball players and to guys like Steph and Kobe and LeBron. The NFL, it doesn't hit the same for me. That's just me. That's my... I don't know why that is. I'm not sure if Zach feels the same, whether it's an English thing. Maybe I don't... You guys feel the same as well. But I always thought, like... Same with the Pro Bowl. Like, it's just not the All-Star game, is it? Like, it's a different sport entirely. Like, I get why it's there, and I get why being named a Pro Bowler is great. I think all Pro honors are fantastic. But, like, as cool as it is to have an MVP, I think it's very much felt like, well, it can only be a quarterback outside of very unique circumstances. So that narrows it down to 32. And then it often becomes like a popularity contest, and it's not... It is what it is, but I understand nationally it just is a trending topic. It always will be, so we do have to cover it. But we can use it in a way to segue into how well Jalen Hurts is playing with a lovely graphic. Ooh, we're back. That's right, we're back with the lovely graphics. So let's just dive into this one for a little bit. These are his stats so far, and with some rankings next to them. 5th in yards, 6th in completion rate, 6 touchdowns, 5th in picks, which I think is very impressive in itself. Air yards is 4th. That's a big one. That was an area of weakness for him, especially in his first 2 seasons in the NFL. On target percentage, 5th place. That's very good. So even with all of the chaos, even with all of the, miscommunication, I don't know how to describe it. It's the ungreased wheels, if you will, of the offense. Just the disjointedness that we saw early on. Still hitting 81% of his throws. There were games that felt like it was a 30% completion rate. But 81%. And he's had more rushing first downs than any other running back or any other player in the NFL, which I find absolutely tremendous. So you've got a player that across the board is a top 5, top 6 quarterback. The difference is, and this is where I think that the discussions have come in and why they've largely maybe not taken place to this point, is that it's not been overly sexy until the last 3 weeks. Like, the last 3 weeks, he had the gorgeous pass to Devontae Smith. AJ Brown has been on a terrific hot streak where even when he's not hitting 130 yards a game, he is still a monster receiver, a guy that can just haul in the most ridiculous of passes. But for the most part, it hasn't been sexy football. It hasn't been Jalen Hurts running around making these hero throws which go down on, Sports Center top 10s and top 5 highlights here and trending on Twitter. Like, it hasn't been that kind of season, but it's been slow. It's been steady. It's been under the radar. They've been grinding out wins, and the numbers speak for themselves. So we're in a situation now that I find very, very interesting, because if it continues on this trajectory, which, given the slate of games they've got coming up, obviously the Chiefs, the Niners, the Bills, the Seahawks, Dallas again in Jerry World, the Giants, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. It's not Washington, is it? I've forgotten. We'll go back to that. But with that trajectory, like, you're not really going to get a ton of opportunities for those big-time, sexy, showboat plays. So when all's said and done, if Hurts stays on this trajectory and ends up a top 5 quarterback in the majority of metrics you can find to grade a quarterback, you're going to quickly find out whether the stats do matter or whether it is just, and I don't want to say sex appeal, because it's, well, although that with Jalen, he'd win that every day, but from like a playing sex appeal, like, is it just this fruity, sexy, the trending player, the young upstart he looks good on social media, or is it the best quarterback? Like, right now, like Lamar Jackson is one of the MVP favorites right now. I don't think he's done anything this year. I do not see how he's in that conversation. The Ravens, I don't think, have been... The defense has been fantastic. There's a shock. Lamar hasn't impressed me to the level that Jalen's improvement has this year. Lamar's had some stinkers, if I remember rightly, this season. So, like, it feels like a weird award. But I wanted to highlight just how well Jalen Hurts is playing. Because, again, to be at worst 6th in the NFL across metrics as important as these definitely warrants praise. And I'll be the first to admit, at the start of this year, I sat here after week 2, week 3, And that was some genuine concern because you were expecting greatness from a player that was being paid to be great and he wasn't playing like it. To turn that around within a matter of weeks, despite the offensive issues, despite the lack of cohesion maybe it is with Brian Johnson and the bizarre play calls and what happens in the red zone, to still be as efficient as he has been against good teams as well, like teams like the Dolphins, teams like that Dallas defense. These are not atrocious bad teams. They're not playing bums. He's playing very good opponents in comparison to last year. And over the last 3 weeks, I think, has looked just as good, if not slightly better than the quarterback we saw take the field last year. So it just definitely it adds nice context to what we've seen. Talking of nice, I'm glad you all like the graphic. K1 is buzzing. It's been a while. There's a second one coming up. We'll get those graphics in, don't you worry. He's getting in rhythm, I'm glad. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's it. There's just been... Maybe it was... I would love to see some parallel universe where the Eagles had a full preseason, where they did play the starters for like even a series or two each. I do wonder if that maybe impacted the first 3 weeks. So they definitely got out of it with their tails between their legs. There's no hiding from that fact that it was not their best football. But I wonder how much of it was based on that preseason, on that lack of it. I wonder if it matters. Cardinals, that's the other team, isn't it? I cannot wait for that. The fact they're an absolute train wreck couldn't have gone any better, and I'm buzzing. But really quickly, PSN to the moon. Absolutely. Phil is in the house after another week of very, very solid morning shows. He's had some PSN writers on, taking over the world day by day. We're playing like Civilization. Is it Civilization Revolution? That game? I'm terrible at it. I'm a football manager guy. But we're doing that in real life. Step by step, day by day, taking over the world. Cheerio, Liam. All hell to the chap. It's a chap 14 now. We've boosted up since Eric's come in. So if you do want to be part of the chap 14, part of the British Brigade, if you will, leave a like on the stream. Would be absolutely fantastic and would certainly mean a lot. Last year, House took him out of the MVP race. It's weird that you say that though, because as much as he hasn't missed a game yet, the last 3 weeks he's been playing on a bum leg. I'm amazed that ACL has not been torn twice at this point. It's the same leg that's happened. Is it 2 weeks in a row? We had the dodgy play against the Cowboys where he left the game and came back, didn't he? And then there was the week before where he had the tackle and his leg looked like that was an ACL tear. I'm convinced that was an ACL tear. Somehow it wasn't. And he just carried on running, got up. And I don't know if it is because of how strong he is. We all know the memes of him squatting 600 pounds. Maybe the guy is just a genetic freak. But the fact that he's playing on a bum leg, he's got a brace on, and he is still putting together a season like this is beyond impressive. It might be the biggest takeaway from the start of this season is that I genuinely cannot be prouder of the way he has improved on a weekly basis. And do you know what? It has happened throughout his career. The rookie season, the flashes he had as a rookie, I was beyond excited. And I was like, look, his middle, his short to medium range throws, they lack zip. They lack power. They're going to get picked off. He doesn't deliver the balls with enough haste. He's inaccurate deep. And he tends to scramble out of the pocket on a first instinct. If he can correct those things, he will be an elite quarterback. And I got attacked for saying it at the time. I was like, he's just not there yet. I understand the hype. He's got all of the makings. He's got all the tools. If you're looking for the mentality of a quarterback, a guy that will lead a franchise, that has every physical, mental trait you could ever dream of, Hurts has all of them. He's got to put it together. Year 2 comes out, balls out like no other. And we're seeing, again, another step forward now. The opening few weeks, again, I was pretty critical and was like, look, he hasn't played like a $255 million quarterback should, for whatever reason. Be it Brian Johnson, be it whatever, he just hasn't been there. And then week 4, 5, 6, 7, he's just continued to improve and to find that footing and to get more aggressive. It has just been, it's great. I cannot tell you how much of a joy it is to watch, knowing you've got a quarterback who on a weekly basis, where if he messes up 1 week, if a player doesn't get any targets 1 week, he's going to get forced the ball the next. If a player struggles, Jalen will get the best out of them. If Jalen struggles, the players will adapt for him. They will adjust around him. Okay? It's amazing to know that if there is a flaw in his game, if he throws 3 turnovers in 1 game, He's not doing it in year two. He's not he's not doing it the next week. It's very rarely that you will see him make a crucial mistake or have a pattern of error extend more than a week or two. He just continues to get better and to work on those weaknesses. And if you compare it to a Daniel Jones, I know he's just been injured, but if you compare it to the majority of quarterbacks in the NFL, guys who are in that same draft class, there are very few that can do that. There are very few veterans that can do that. I mean, you've got the guys like Aaron Rodgers who are just steady as she goes at this point. They know the quarterback that they are. It's very rare that you see them put a foot wrong. But to see a quarterback make a mistake, make a bad decision, bad play, and then a week later, that's no longer an issue. It's just astounding. And I think that above anything else, it might be the most impressive thing about Jalen Hurts. Billy B, nice to see you in the chat, Billy. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening. Talking about Burrow for MVP in 99% of the season's been horrible. So yeah, Hurts has a chance. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Okay, it does help, but the NFL this year has been an absolute train wreck. Like, I don't think I've seen a season as open as this across the board. The San Francisco 49ers a month ago, best team in football, were like minus 150 to make the Super Bowl. They were the team. They've dropped 3 in a row out of nowhere. Like, I didn't even realize it. Like, I knew they've been bad, but you realize 3 in a row. The Niners. And they face the Jags on the road this week. Okay? There's a lot of meat on the bone in the NFL, but you've got teams that are, like the Bills have lost a stinker. The Chiefs have lost a stinker. The Eagles have done the same with the Jets. You are not seeing a dominant outfit this year. Philadelphia is about as dominant as it gets. And, I mean, outside of Baltimore, but again, I've got my reservations about the Ravens. I'm not sort of overly sold on anything, really. I mean, apart from the defense. Like, I think the offense is too inconsistent. When the run game doesn't work, I think it gets one-dimensional too quickly, I think, Baltimore. But yeah, I completely agree. I think it's not only just Burrow's been horrible, it's just the entire league has been atrocious. So, like, if you can be the best of the bunch, then so be it. Liam, did you flip Phil Stifle the bird? Are you trying to restart the revolution? I didn't mean to. He pointed this out. So there's a funny story. So was it last stream or the one before? I can't remember. Basically, he said hello and his chat was highlighted here like yours is now, Eric. And I've just itched my face like that. And it's as his comments come up and I've just sat there like that. And he messaged me like, you flipped me off on the show. And I was like, I don't remember insulting him. That's weird. That's not like me. And he sent the screenshot and I found it hilarious. So apologies for that, Phil. I'm glad to see Liam's recovered from that finger injury. Look, I can't lie. Okay, we've got some owning up to do. So you can see one nail is still a bit like battered. The fingers themselves are fine. I can move them again. They don't look very... That one looks a bit bruised. But what happened, I went to play golf on Thursday. I went to the driving... No, Wednesday. Thursday? Thursday. I went to the driving range yesterday. And I thought, right, I'm gonna try and just hit a few wedges because I kind of like a week and a half off. I'll be fuming. And what happened was that I made the finger bleed again under the nails. And look, something's happened to it. It's not pretty. So maybe I think I made it worse. One finger's fine, the other one's not so good. I can move them all; they're not broken, but yeah, it wasn't my finest moment. That I will tell you a funny story though from the weekend, from the incident which I was told a few days ago, and it's just funny. Okay, so I went out midday to watch a soccer game. Okay, with some friends. I don't remember anything after that, but there was alcohol involved. I don't remember how much I drank, but I was apparently like blackout drunk at like 5 p.m. I don't know what happened. Okay, my girlfriend meets me. She was going to meet me anyway, so I've gone to meet her. And we went to go to my office to drop her stuff off so we can go back to the pub. I've lifted the gate up, fell over. That's where my hand got hurt. So I've lifted the gate, fell on top of it horrifically. I was out of action for like 2 days. Not pretty. Anyway, walking home that night. So I'm there borderline in tears the whole way because my fingers are in agony. And we're going up this little lane and a car comes towards us. So my girlfriend pushes me out the way of the car. The car stops alongside us and goes, I'm trying to find Normandy Street. Do you have any idea where it is? Apparently, this is what I've been told. So I'm wobbling around going, oh, I don't know, not having a clue what's going on. Lizzie says, we don't know. Sorry, he's not really in a fit state. Do you mind if we go? The car pulls off and leaves. Okay. And this is me who says this, bear in mind. I turned to my girlfriend and went, stupid bitch wants to go to France. And it's the most out of pocket LJ thing to say, but it's golden. So there should be like an alcohol diary. So I don't remember that incident. I don't remember the car. I don't remember getting home. But just the fact that even then, while drunk, still had a bit of wit about me. And I was quite impressed with that. So I thought I'd share it with you all as like a little story to go into the weekend. A little bi-week story, if you will, where we don't have too much Eagles-related chatter to talk about. But dude, IPAs are lethal because they're like quite a high percentage. You can, if you have something like do you have Brewdog in America? Best relationship story yet. It's up there. I can't lie. It's just about I had no recollection of it. But I've just turned to her and gone, stupid bitch wants to go to France. And she's just like, yeah, not a clue. So there you go. There's a hopefully funnier. I find it hilarious. So if you don't, I do apologize. But I thought it was one worth sharing because it was just brilliant. So there, it was just, I fell over, blackout, hurt my fingers. I had no idea what was going on. Cannot remember a thing, but somehow find a way to pull that off. It was tremendous. So yeah, traditional day at the office for me that Saturday. Still feeling the effects finger-wise, but we move. We'll talk more Eagles in just a sec. We'll go through my mid-season grades. I know Phil stole my thunder. He did his this morning. I promise mine aren't different. We've not just copied and pasted each other's. But it will be nice to go over, I think, each positional group and evaluate where we're at ahead of the second half of the season. I'm on a cat, not even water today. Because I keep yawning during the streams because it's late. So I'm actively trying to caffeine up for him. So we'll see how we go. No ASMR content yet, though. Liaming his way home. Bloody brilliant. I appreciate you all, boys. All right, let's get to mid-season grades. So I don't have a graphic for each position. So we are going to have to... Actually, I wonder if there's a way I can do it. I can't. No, I can't do it. Won't let me do it, will it? All right. Well, we'll just do this. This is what I've got. This is how I'm grading each position, and we'll go one by one. Can I get like an on-screen pointer? I don't think I can I? No. Okay. So... I don't know what I've done. Anyway, let's go with these then. Let's start with special teams and work our way up. B. I think a B grade is solid. Jake Elliott has been money outside of one missed field goal, and even that was the game where the Eagles lost. And if Jake Elliott's off, you know something's wrong. Okay, B's fair. There hasn't been anything incredible on special teams. The punting's been bang average. Jake Elliott brings it up. The punt returns have been okay. The kick returns have been okay, as they always are. If anything, it's like more a B- to a C. But I think Jake Elliott being so good, so long, drags it up. Like, he's just willing that position. And look, Aaron Sipos being vacated from the team automatically raises it a bit. You could have it D with Sipos on. You take him out, it's automatically a B. Like, it can't be that bad. Mark says, I think B coverage is suspect. Yeah, I mean, that's the only other concern. I like Jake the Snake. That's my boy. He is a hell of a guy. I can't lie. I think he might go down as the best kicker in Eagles history when all is said and done. Knowing how volatile the kicker position can be, to have someone as good as he is remarkable. Can I get this? Can I get my camera on? Hang on. I'm trying to get my camera on. Okay. Is this on? Can't even see me, can you? Hang on. Right. I don't know what I'm doing here, boys. I can't lie. Shift 6. Yeah, I don't. You can't see my face, can you? Oh, hang on. Yeah, never mind. Okay. We move on. Look, you can't see the camera, so you just have to stare at an image and have audio commentary because I cannot work out what I'm doing here, I'm afraid. Oh, well. Right. We'll go to safety. C+. I've got safety. C+. Look, I know there's been concerns. We've had a trade. Kevin Byard's in now. The upside, if you're going to judge like what it'll look like for the next 6 weeks, I'd probably say B again. But Reed has had flash plays that have made up for otherwise average / underwhelming. You know, it's just not been great. It's not been great. So I would say C plus for safety. Doug's disagree. Look, we're gonna get to quarterback. We're gonna get to quarterback. Okay. I've put it B for a reason. All right. Okay, we are flying, guys. Slow down. Right, position by position. We'll do it as a group. But Eric quickly says Jake better than David Akers. I think he will be. I don't think he is currently. I would love to see some stats side by side. It might even be worth me doing a piece over the weekend. But it wouldn't surprise me if, when all is said and done, if in another 5 years, if he stays, because he's only like 29, isn't he? I think, off the top of my head. I'm going to quickly check that because I can. So bear with me. I think he's 29. He might be younger than that. Oh, he's my age. Wow, 28. Is he 29? I don't know how old he is. 28, 29? 28. All right, near enough. So, yeah, you've realistically got like another 10 years of Jake Elliott, if all is said and done. Like, probably another 5, 6 minimum. Really quickly, I'm going to come back to the grades in a second. Primal says, Liam, in the Eagles forum on Reddit, there was a large group of Eagles fans who flew from Britain and Ireland. Shame you weren't with them. I know the group as well, the UK and Ireland Eagles. They're a great fan group. I've not had anything to do with them outside of, I went on a podcast for them like 4 years ago. But yeah, great group of guys. The same as like the UK Phillies. Like, I love that guy. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I love his passion. I think he's gone to more Phillies games than some Philly fans. But yeah, it was amazing to see that kind of trip, and they got to see the link and everything. Yeah, it was cool. I'm really happy they got to do that. I'll be out soon. I can't say I'm going to try and get out there next year. I know I've said that every year forever, but I'm hoping next year is the year, and I'll come and give you all a big cuddle. All right, let's get back to safety then. I mean, Mark says Reed's been only A+. There's been a couple of dodgy ones. I mean, he has been the lone constant in the unit, but I think when you've got Justin Evans, when you've got Terrell Edmonds, like, there hasn't really been a lot alongside him to help. So I don't think he's been bad as much as he's been great, but been handcuffed by like positional woes of other players sort of dragging him down and making him look a bit worse. So I think Reed Blankenship has been the only lone good factor there. Without him, this would be like an F, you know? So I think I'd like to think that's a fair grade. I don't know if anyone's actually done a grading article on PSN yet. If not, I'll be doing that tomorrow. Let's move to cornerbacks. We've got B-. I think it's tricky because I'm trying to grade the cornerbacks for what they are, which is Darius Slay, James Bradbury, and who? And, you know, Bradley Roby's gone. Avonte Maddox gone. Eli Ricks, great 1 week, bad the next. Went straight to Twitter, got shouted at for saying he shouldn't have done that. Sorry. So, like, you've got Bradbury, who's been being victimized. Darius Slay, who's been very good. And then just not a lot of continuity. So I think even a C+ is pushing it. But I don't think the give-ups and the mistakes are from the corners. I think a lot of it is linebacker-based. The linebackers are lucky to get a C. That was very nearly a D. So I think safety in corner, a B- for a corner is probably too generous, but it's on the basis that you haven't had Maddox, Roby's gone, you've got an undrafted free agent playing nickel, Bradbury is nowhere near good enough, and Slay is tying that whole position group together. I think they're okay. Like, it's not great. B- is like good. If C+ is average, B- is like good. Yeah, exactly as Mark said. They haven't cost us a game yet. As much as there have been some bad errors, as much as there's been some big plays given up and you're questioning stuff at times, it has not been horrific. It has not been you singling out a corner time and time again. So for me, I think cornerbacks at B or B- is certainly fair. Linebackers C, it should be lower. I should have been more punishing, but I didn't want it to look like I was just doing it for the clicks or the views and the reaction. Nakobe Dean just isn't that guy yet. And he seems to have like a recurring foot problem. So that's fantastic. Zach Cunningham had one really good... Nicholas Morrow had one freak game where he got like 3 sacks. The duo have been okay. Morrow and Cunningham between themselves have been okay. They've not been brilliant. They've not been bad. They've been okay to slightly concerning, I would say. Duck says we've literally only had average play. How can you give anything other than a C for common? Fair enough. All right, that makes you feel better. I was a bit concerned on how I grade that, so that makes me feel a bit better about myself. Defensive line A minus. Is that too generous on the defensive line? Because really, it is only like Jalen Carter doing anything, and Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick has kicked in. If we're going over the last 3 weeks, it probably fair. If we're going after the whole season, I do feel like it's closer to a B plus than an A minus. Because there hasn't been a lot of overall contributions for everyone. But in pinches, in like, when the game, like something like Dallas last week, when Dallas had to convert and they couldn't take a sack or give up a penalty, and the defensive line forces both. I think that is absolutely key. Fletcher Cox has had some splash plays in there as well. Jordan Davis had a fantastic start to the year. So I think A minus is good. A plus would be like perfect. It should be B plus. If I'm honest, I've done it too high. But I think Reddick's impact and Carter's impact has been so damn explosive that it kind of drags it up into that A minus range. So that's where I would be at the minute. As Mark says, it very much is the Reddick and Carter show. Isaac says about the corners, they have come up big when needed. Slade's tackle clinch the Cowboys. Joby clinch Pats, and Brad has been huge in moments. That is a good point. That's a very good point to examine. So I think B minus is fair on there. All right, let's get to wide receiver. You can't grade that anything other than A, can you? I mean, A.J. Brown just literally broke a record for having the most games ever by a wide receiver with 125 plus receiving yards in a row. You can't grade it anything else. Devontae Smith has been great. He's just been like streaky because I think A.J. Brown has been dominating targets for most of the year. So he naturally has seen his target share dip a little bit. I was expecting much closer to a 50-50. But when you've got two guys like that, when any one of them can blow up at any point, you just do have to ride the hot hand. And the Eagles were absolutely right to continue feeding A.J. Brown. And I am not going to sit here and complain when you've got two receivers as good as that. So AJ, for me, might go down as the best receiver in Eagles history right now. I think Smitty will get there. I think he will catch them. Yeah, good point from Mark. There have been a few drops. But overall, yeah, I would say A. I mean, the only other caveat is, the wide receiver 3 spot, that slot role, we haven't really seen much from Quez, obviously. Olamide Zacchaeus, nice introduction, got phased out, now stuck behind Julio, who's been okay, like as serviceable as one could expect. So yeah, A minus to an A, but I think AJ, like A is like great. And AJ Brown had the most generational stretch in NFL history. Like, you cannot take that away. Devontae Smith just has a habit of turning average catches into Spider-Man level receptions. And I think the ability to adjust... look, I'll say this. Devontae Smith, as much as he hasn't been the hotter of the two receivers this year, has been the bigger reason why Jalen Hurts' play has improved. I cannot count how many times Hurts' balls have sailed on Smitty and he's somehow jumped 8 foot in the air and hauled them in and taken contact on the way down on a simple curl out where it should be into his chest. He's jumped up, turned a dead play into a reception for 7 yards. It's happened numerous times. So, yeah, I think that alone brings it up to an A. Running back, I've got me B minus here. Look, DeAndre Swift having another generational run to start the year was brilliant. I think the rotation does need some address. We started seeing some Rashad Penny. Then Rashad Penny couldn't play football anymore. I think the running back position's great. I think it has been hindered a little bit by a lack of continuity on the offensive line. When you lose someone as vital as those guards have been to injury, you cannot really dispute the fact that the running game's going to suffer a bit. And DeAndre Swift notably dropped off in terms of yards per carry when injury started niggling that offensive front. So it has to be taken into account. But the fact of the matter is, DeAndre Swift has been far more reliable than Miles Sanders ever was. Kenny Gainwell should lose marks for texting at halftime, but it is what it is. I think overall this position group is solid. It's very much dominated by DeAndre Swift, but it will continue to do so. And it's been great to watch. It's been really fun to watch. It's been relaxing watching the running backs play football. You're not concerned about fumbles. You're not concerned about just coming up short on 3rd and 2. It's almost a given that it goes for a completion. If not, it's a tush push. It just feels solid. It might be the most solid Eagles running back rotation since oh, God knows, a long time ago. Maybe like Westbrook era, because with McCoy, he was always the bell cow. So maybe this is the most solid rotation we've had in a while, but it feels good. Let's go to some of the other comments that we've got here before we get to the nitty gritty. AGN is in his prime. I'm excited to see how much batter he gets. Hopefully, Julio can pick up some slack for Goddard. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute, Primal. We'll definitely get to that in a minute because I've not rated Goddard as much this season either. I know he's gone down with injury now, but I still think it hasn't been his best. I'd go D- for nickel and safety. Look, that's absolutely fair, Travis. I wouldn't blame you. I think I was a bit too generous on corners. Safety, I think, gets dragged up by Reed. I think that was our takeaways. I think it just gets dragged up because Reed Blankenship has been very good outside of a few misdemeanors the past couple of weeks. Ron is in the house. Welcome to the chat. 17 now. There are 17 of you watching this stream. I know it is literally just a splash image at the minute because I can't figure out StreamYard. But if you are one of those 17, you haven't said hello and you want your views heard, get your name in that chat box. Let me know what you grade these positions and if you agree or disagree with them. Your opinions do matter here at PSN. And if you could leave a like on the video, that will be absolutely amazing. Mark says, I'll take over throws and underthrows. He's absolutely, yeah, very fair point indeed, Mark. Hurts doesn't trust other receivers as much as he has with AJ, and until that changes, we will get one-dimensional. That's a very fair comment, actually. I do, but then again, having said that, Smitty does more for him. Like, Hurts can miss Smitty way more sporadically and have a better chance of a reception. I think with AJ, he's physical and he will box out if the ball's in the right area. He can pull off some ridiculous catches, like we saw the one-handed snag the other day. But from a radius, I don't know. I feel like Smitty just offers a bit more versatility that will help him. So I'm sure it's going to come in time. But with that said, we are talking about a guy that is literally Jalen's best friend, right? Like, there's going to be obvious chemistry there. And I don't want to say nepotism. I don't want to say favoritism or any other word that ends in tism. But there is going to be a natural, I guess, like, draw towards going his way when you not only have that chemistry and understanding and wavelength of each other. Put it this way, look, we'll come out of the grades because I want to make this point and we'll come back to it. It's a really good point Duck makes it, and it's one that deserves a discussion. So, like, we've all played Fortnite, we've all played PUBG, we've all played a Battle Royale game or a multiplayer game of some capacity, okay? I'm sure a lot of us would have been in a situation where you're playing in a squad on PUBG and you play with your best friend or your gaming guy that you play with religiously, and maybe you join his other friend that he has, okay? In that situation, if you find loot, if they both go down, who's the guy you pick up first? It's the guy you know. If you're in a situation on FIFA and you're playing pro clubs, there's three of you in the box and you're running with the ball, you got to pick out a player. Who's the guy you go to? If you're playing Madden and you're doing the mode where you can beat players' offense, it's the same thing. Like, if you're in a setting where it's you, your best friend, and another guy you know well, but you know your best friend's a bit better, you are going to continue to go that way. So I think, like, as much as you have got a great point, it's not going to be of detriment to the Eagles so long as AJ stays as good as he is. It's lucky that AJ might be the most physically gifted receiver in football. Like, right now, he's very Calvin Johnson-esque, I would say. And because of that, it just promotes it. It's like the more Jalen throws, the better AJ gets. So the more Jalen throws, so the better he gets. And you kind of just, you have two guys cleaning out a house on PUBG. And look, I'm the other guy on PUBG. I'm always the liability that gets downed easily. So I'm just sat there, with a little assault rifle, not knowing what's going on. And they do all the hard work. And I can come in and, I'm always the sacrificial lamb. If there's a squad in another house, I'll be forced to run down all guns blazing to draw the attention so they can pick them off. Sometimes that guy comes out with the most heroic plays the world's ever seen. Sometimes he'll clutch up and obliterate that whole house. The 3 times that happened in my career was phenomenal. The other times, you just let the other two do their dirty work. And I think that's kind of where this offense is for the time being. Just letting AJ be AJ and letting Jalen be Jalen. Eric says he disagrees. Hurts trusts Smitty, just not Watkins. I don't think anyone trusts Watkins, but that's for another day. It's just AJ's on fire. Exactly. I'd like to think that was a good analogy there. I like PUBG. I miss it. That was like it was like pre-COVID, wasn't it? Like PUBG, pre-Fortnite. Oh, what an era that was. What an era that was. We're not a pass every team rather than big stars need to be fed offense. Yeah, exactly. It's very much, it's still kind of run first. It just is kind of lost that pizzazz, I'd say, over the past like 3 or 4 weeks as someone like AJ Brown has got better. Because you do focus more on those ridiculous plays and the fact that he's putting up like 130 yards a time. We'll go back onto the image. Just realized I've not had my banner up the whole time. There we go. Get that going. Right. You can look at that now. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Call me the Cure, because Friday I'm in love. Is that the song? Or is it? It's Friday. I'm in. It is. Okay, Friday I'm in love. Anyway, I can't find the image. I'm blabbing. That's the one. Right. Back to grades. Sorry, quick. I'll tell you what. Coke out of a can doesn't look the same as Coke out of a bottle, does it? It just doesn't. And I know we're talking grading here, but Coke out of a can just isn't the same. It's not right. Coke out of a glass, even a plastic bottle, but Coke out of a glass bottle, oh gosh, it could cure every life problem I ever have. I swear to God. So let's have a look. We've got to highlight that really quickly. I wouldn't trust Watkins with a dozen eggs. Dude, I wouldn't trust Watkins to do most things. I wouldn't trust him to do my laundry at this point. He'd probably drop that as well. No, that was too far. Let's be nice. Come on, we're a professional outlet here. Let's be friendly. We'll talk tight end. We've not talked tight end yet. I've gone with C+. I've not seen enough from Dallas Goedert to be positively, what's the word? Encouraged, I guess. Look, there was a phase where Zach Ertz was the second best tight end in football, if not the best. Goddard was drafted in behind him during Ertz's prime and was set up to be the next big thing. Comes out of South Dakota State, incredible blocker, learns from Ertz as a receiver, very quick, and made a lot of stingy plays down the seam. And that worked for a while. And now we're at a point where AJ Brown might be the best receiver in football. The running backs might be, the best combined backfield in football. Smitty is among the top 10 receivers in football. And Goddard is just not getting that pass attention. And is he valuable against the run? Like, absolutely he is. But we've also got to appreciate that Dallas Goedert has, traditionally struggled with injuries and soft tissue stuff. It's really been, I'd say, underwhelming to the point that he missed like 5 games last year, did he not? And the Eagles were absolutely fine. And I think he's missed time. Like, I want to see this. I want to make sure I'm not misspeaking, because I do like Dallas Goedert. But I think that injuries and staying healthy for an entire year just have impacted him a bit. So I'm getting his stats up now. So we've got, he played 16 games as a rookie. That was it. 15 year 2, 11 year 3, 15 year 4, 12 year 5. And he hasn't missed one yet. But obviously now he might do slightly. So there's that. So he has been missing time. So we can grade what we've seen, okay, which is a receiver that has had 400 yards on the season. That's not bad. That's on pace for like an 800-yard campaign, roughly, which would be a career best near enough. Okay, he's on course for near enough what could be a career best season, even in this offense where he's a minimal factor. However, it just feels like an afterthought because of how much talent is around him. So I don't know. Look, Goddard's been great against him. Maybe this was too harsh. Maybe that grade should be a B- as well. But I feel like now we're going to miss time again. It hampers it a bit. It takes away, but we're grading what we've seen so far, so maybe it should be a B-. I'm not sure. But it was a dirty play. You're right. I mean, the play that injured him, the broken arm or whatever it was, like the arm dragged down. It was naughty. It was vicious. It has no place in the NFL. I feel with more targets, Goddard could be a top 3 TE. I mean, he probably could. I don't know what the tight end stats are this year. Should we have a look? Can I do this? Let's see if I can. This always tends to go wrong, but I just want to see if TE stats. Come on. Oh, I'm doing it with one hand. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh, it's gone over here. Oh, no, here we are. Can you see it right? So he's still 9th in the NFL. That's what. There's not even much in it. Oh, hang on. That's if we go in yards. Okay. So in yards he's 9th. I mean, the guys out in Cole Kmet isn't better. Johnny Smith isn't better. Evan Ingram probably is about the same. Sam Laporta will be better. George Kittle is better. Mark Andrews, Hawkin, yeah. So I'd say even now he's like 6th or 7th tight end. It's nuts that Atlanta have got 2 tight ends. I'll tell you what, Atlanta they're the next Detroit Lions for me. Give them a year with Desmond Ridder in that offense and they will be laughing. I think that's a very fun team to keep an eye on. But yeah, there you are. So maybe I've been a bit too harsh there. And you haven't seen it, have you, the whole time? I've not even... You can't see it. Never mind. Well, I've read it out anyway. There you go. Look, you don't get this with ESPN is all I'm saying. But yeah, so there we go. Goddard ranks 9th in tight ends. I'd say that's right. Yeah, okay, C+, B-. Ridder's been benched. And so I've got him in fantasy. Why is he been benched for? No, what? Am I just finding this out now? I thought it was only for one. I thought he had a bye week, so I cut him and I put in Gardner Minshew as a backup. Hell of a pickup, by the way. I'm now 5-4 in fantasy for those that care. I can give you an update on the PSN Fantasy League before we get to the last 2 spots. Hang on. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, it's because I've got the overlay on. There we go. Right. So in the PSN Fantasy League, here's how the standings are after 9 weeks. Donny Shea leads. Chris Infante is 2nd, by the way, at 5-4. 2nd is 5-4. Look, I am tied 2nd in this league. I am red hot right now. I'm on a 2-win streak. I'm in 3rd place with the team name 2 Girlies, 1 Cup. Doesn't get better than that, boys. Andy Quatch, our 6th is rider, is P4 at 5-4. Phil Stifle, Mr. Trending in the AM, is 5th at 5-4. Jackie Townley is 6th at 5-4. Uriah Young is 7th at 5-4. Zach Chavalella, our 6ers man, is 9th behind Uriah Young. Then we've got Brian Cameron is 4-5, 11th. Justin Crosby 4-5. Tim Sullivan 3-6, and Alex Costaval 2-7. So there you go. It's a tight battle going on there with 14 of us in that league. So there you are. You're 5-4 too. Look at that. 5-4. The PSN Fantasy League is a lot of parity. It's really tight. It's really, really tight. We've got, there's 2 wins separating. There's 1 win separating 2nd and 12th out of a 14-team league. So there's that. The PSN Discord League's a 3-way tie at 7-2. Who's in the PSN? I should have joined. I'll tell you what, I said I should have joined the Discord League. I'm in like 3 leagues, and this is the only one I'm actively playing on. Just because it's on this, I'm not sure if you guys have like the Sleeper app, it's called. It just feels way cleaner. Oh, I broke it. It just looks really nice, like compared to the ESPN one and Yahoo. So no affiliation. This isn't a sponsored thing, but I just prefer it. You're one of the 7-2 teams. What a man! Bring it home, Isaac. Bring it home for the boys. All of my teams are 5-4. Parity is brutal. It is. We've got a parity party though. We've got a parity party. Let's get back to the grades. Well, I got sidetracked there. My apologies. 2 positions left. Offensive line, B-. It is a B movie. Barry B. Benson. Bears, Battlestar Galactica. Okay? I think a B- is fair for the offensive front. I'd even say C+. I don't think they've been that great pass protection-wise. There have been flurries. There have been games where they've been dominant. But overall, I think there has been a lot of... Look, this is a unit we're used to seeing be the creme de la creme, the best of the best. It hasn't been the best of the best this year. This has been a good unit. It has been a top 10 unit. It has not been the best. They've given up a lot of sacks. They've given up a lot of hurries, given up a lot of pressures. Sure, they've dealt with injuries, but I think there's more there, okay? This is a unit that should be punching an A- to an A on its day. So I would say B- for me. I think that's fine. And we'll discuss that when your comments come through. Less said I'm doing the PSN Discord Dynasty League, the better. I want to be at a Dynasty League. I do want to give one a go. I think we're in a league, aren't we? Me and Zach are in a league together in this Twitter group. I think I've set my team in about a month. I'm just checking now. I might even set my team this week. Yeah, I got absolutely slapped. 82 points. Oh, I'm playing Wahab this week. That's a win. Right, I'll have to sort that out. Yeah, I haven't got a running back. So that's good. Like half my team's on IR, so that's great. I don't know. I'll do it in a bit. I'll set mine up in a bit. I disagree. It's been B+ at worst. Okay. I misread it as agree. I was like, lovely, but he disagrees. Everyone's been beaten with Jurgens out and late. That's a fair point. Again, I know injuries have been a factor. It's not. Look, I've seen it worse. I've seen them get like penalty after penalty after penalty. I've seen Jamon Brown tackle his own player. I've seen Jason Peters exist. The upside here is brilliant. This is a very good unit. It just hasn't been all together yet. It's been great. It hasn't been perfect. Maybe my standards are too high. It could just be that. I would say B- is fair. I might be wrong. But there we go. It's all subjective, isn't it? The OL's allowed a lot of pressures, but overall been good for rotation at guard. Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is guys like Ciro Petta, for instance, coming in and immediately making an impact somewhat negates the weaknesses that we've seen. I think the fact that that unit has been as good as it has with the injuries, injuries at guard are tough. You're losing a guy like, Jurgens, losing a guy like Steen, having Lane at less than 100%. Because he's too busy chatting up to all Philly and securing the bag. That I'm not bitter. Don't worry about it. You're kind of gonna expect a drop off, and it hasn't been a drastic one. There really hasn't been a drastic drop off. So I think that has to be praised. And on that note, we get to quarterback. I've just said that Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate and that he should be among them this year. I've also just flashed a graphic, and we can go back to it through the beauty of technology, of his stats this year, and I've graded him at B. Is that too harsh? I, in my head, think he played 4 bad weeks. 4 bad weeks. And now he's had 3, the last 3 in a row have been the weeks of his life. He has played some of the best football he has ever played. He has gone from one extreme to the other. So in my opinion, that cancels out. I think he struggled a little bit week 1. Week 2 wasn't great. Week 3 struggled. There was the loss to the Jets. And then he kind of the win against Miami was huge. The win against Dallas was huge. He willed the team to victory against the Commanders in a game they could have easily lost. And he helped A.J. Brown set an NFL record. And he also has the most rushing touchdowns in Eagles history. And he also leads the league. So I think a B is a fair grade. I would say, all things considered, I think a B is a fair grade. Is it B+ to A-? Probably, if we're being dead honest. I am being a bit nitpicky. I am being a bit harsh. But by season's end, will that be an A-? Do I believe that will be an A-? I think it'll be an A. I think the trajectory is there. And the other thing we didn't discuss with the Jalen Hurts MVP thing, like the debate there, can't even talk, the debate we had earlier, is that realistically right now, he's done these numbers so far. He's going to be going into a scenario where he faces the Bills, the Chiefs, the Niners, the Seahawks, the Cowboys. Okay? If he can guide the Eagles to wins over some of those teams, there is no question he is the most valuable player. If he beats Patrick Mahomes one-on-one showdown head-to-head, MVP. If he beats Josh Allen and that Bills defense, MVP. If he shuts down Brock Purdy and that Niners defense, MVP. So realistically, if he's done all this so far with the gauntlet ahead, it's not like we're going to get to last year where we get to week 15 and he's pissing it and everyone goes, yeah, but the schedule was easy. You're not going to get it this year because he has played his best ball. He's just beat the Cowboys. He's beaten Tua and the Dolphins. And you're now getting to a point where you are going to face the best the NFL has to offer in Patrick Mahomes. You will face one of the best the NFL has to offer in Buffalo's defense and another in the San Francisco 49ers. There is no way he isn't an MVP candidate if he can find ways to win. So as of right now, I would grade him at a B with the upside of an A. I think. I think that's being fair, that's down the middle. Liam's always fighting an internal war with this. Look, the thing is, I want to be as down the middle as I can, and it's a blessing and a curse because I end up constantly scrapping and changing my mind. And he's like, no, I do think this. No, he is bad. He deserves. No, I love him. He's been great. Like I can never figure out what side of the fence I'm on, but I want to remain impartial. Like I know there are Eagles content creators out there who are strictly fans, and that is absolutely fine. That's their thing. But they will see it so biased that it will be like the players can do no wrong. And like the Jonathan Gannon thing last year, where he was being heralded as like the second coming of Jimmy Johnson for crying out loud. Like, I will call a spade a spade. If something's not up to scratch, I'll call it out. If a player's not doing it for me, I'll say. And I think it keeps it honest. I think having that integrity, because then when I'm wrong, like I'm the first to admit, like when Jalen Hurts started balling out, I put my hands up and was like, look, he's done it. He's improved. Everything I slagged him off for, he's changed. He's got better. And he's made me look a bit silly. Fair enough. And I would much rather do that than watch a team spiral out of control, for instance, and say, no, they're playing great. And then try and forcibly find stats to back it up. Because I've been there and I learned my lesson when trying to, in an argument with a notable NFL writer, say that Sam Bradford was a better quarterback than Drew Brees in 2015. And I was arguing it till kingdom come. I was relentless. I wouldn't let it go. And he literally said, he was like, who are you trying to prove? He's like, it doesn't matter. But like, and it's great you've got that opinion, but you need to just see it for what it is. So I've kind of since then, I will stick to my guns, but I'll call it as I see it. And if I see it wrong, it creates discussion and we can have fun with it. If I see it right, it creates discussion and I feel a little bit better about myself. But I certainly think it's the best way to be. It just also feels like I'm having a crisis like 90% of the time. Hurts can win this out the whole season. He won't get MVP even if he deserves. They hate Philly. They can't sell his hard work and keep quiet. That is true. Yeah. I mean, I guess there is an element of that there. But having said that, he is now on more magazine covers. He is more in the national spotlight. I feel like I'm seeing more Jalen Hurts in commercials, like the Apple Music playlist. Like he's beginning to become like a marketable face of the NFL. And that is a good step for that. So I'd like to think it will come down to play. I really would. But if not, like we said, individual accolades don't matter. Let's get the man a ring. Bottom line is this. Every team in the NFL gives the Eagles their A game. The fellow contenders want to beat them and the other teams want to show face. Very true. And I think that is the risk where if the Eagles do end up playing down to their opponents or they are caught off guard by a team like the New York Jets, that it shows very, very quickly. So it's one of them. It's one of them. But I think that the Eagles are absolutely going to have a very entertaining run for the second half. I didn't even get to do predictions in the end. So I might have to do like another stream on like Monday. Oh, I do a stream Monday anyway, you idiot. We'll do it Monday then. We'll do bold predictions on Monday because I forgot to do it today. I'm not going to lie. If how Jalen played for the Cowboys is a sign of how we'll play v the Niners, the Chiefs and Bills, I can totally see us beating all three. The only ones that scare me genuinely are the Chiefs. I think the Bills are vulnerable. I think the Niners are vulnerable. They've dropped 3 in a row. If Jacksonville beat them, they will be in panic stations. Absolutely. So yeah, it's going to be a fun end of the year though. Like I genuinely can't wait. As much as it's stressful, you want to see your guys beat the best. You don't want to have a cupcake schedule and do an Alabama or a Notre Dame or whoever and just piss everything. Like even last year, you hate hearing that, like, because you know the team's good. And I know you can only beat who's in front of you, but all you hear is, the schedule. There's none of that this year. If the Eagles can win out and they can beat the teams in front of them, there is undeniably the fact that they will be one of the best, if not the best team in football. And that will be so satisfying. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Sam Bradford that year had the highest completion percentage of anyone in the NFL. And I was adamant he was better than Drew Brees that year. As we now know, I was wrong in that opinion. I learnt my lesson the hard way. Look at John Hightower. I was wrong about John Hightower, but we had a fun ride, didn't we? We had a fun journey, hyping that man up, watching him fall flat on his face and laughing at Liam. What an era it was. And we'll do it every single week, and that's what makes this show so special. I do feel like if Jalen wasn't injured last year, he would have won it. Yeah, I agree. I think he was certainly in contention to, for sure. Like, it was tough. It was always going to be tricky with Mahomes at the pace he was at. this feels more winnable, I think, because of the context of everything. I think this is far more winnable for him to win that MVP. But on that note, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Friday evening. Enjoy the bye week. Enjoy NFL Red Zone and 7 hours of commercial-free football with the gorgeous Scott Hanson. From myself, Liam Jenkins, if you could leave a like on the stream when you haven't already, it would mean a lot. I would say subscribe, but I don't want to make you. Okay, that's mean. But if you could leave a like if you've enjoyed it tonight, it does help the stream a massive, massive amount. Thank you all for hanging out. I really appreciate you and for all the support you continue to give all the PSN shows, not only mine, but obviously Trending in the AM, Flipping the Birds, and of course, the Philly stuff we've got started, the Studio 76, our new Sixer stuff that we've got started. We got a lot coming. We got a lot cooking. I'll see you on Monday for another episode. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your bye week. Go Birds. I can't find the outro. See you soon. Cut it out. Whoa. I was just about to you can't drop that in. Dude, that is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for that donation, man. That's incredibly kind of you. I almost went off. I was a second away from ending the stream. I turned, the mic was over there. I turned back round. I was hit end stream and I saw, dude, thank you so much. You really didn't have to do that. It's never an expectation. It means a lot that you enjoyed the show that much that you thought you wanted to donate. So just thank you for that generosity and being with us all night. Hopefully we see you in Monday's stream and streams to come, and you can join our core group of fans. It will be Talking Eagles Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. You've been a star. Thank you for that, man. That's beyond generous of you. I'll tell you what I'll do, and I promise you this. I will make you a little not a logo. I'll put your name on the stream with a thank you for Monday. So I'll make like a little banner or something. So just as a thank you from me. But I'll promise I'll be out there next year. There was a reason I wasn't out there this year, and in due time I will discuss that reason. It's nothing like too bad. It's just a personal thing. But I'll be out there. I'll be coming out with all of you, giving you a big hug, getting drunk and making dodgy jokes about Normandy. I'm sure. I can't wait for it. So don't worry. But I really appreciate that donation. I appreciate you all watching. That means a lot, man. That's made my night. Thank you so much for just taking the time and doing that. Very sweet of you. Go have yourselves a great weekend, guys. You get a little after show there. Thanks to Primal and his active kindness. Go Birds. I'll see you soon. Take care.